I've spent way too much time on this thing. I'm not kidding, I've pulled at least one all-nighter. And quite honestly, I don't want to look at another line of code ever again, but I probably will because this project just keeps consuming me. Why have I spent so much time on this? I don't know. I could have just switched to Windows and used the tool that worked well enough, saving me many more hours than I'd like to admit. But maybe there's just something so satisfying about being faced with a problem and creating the solution, or fixing a bug that seemed unfixable. Maybe I'm just insane. But this project has expanded into something much more than it was supposed to be. At first, it was nothing more than a program that allowed me to control two accounts at the same time using Linux, since there weren't any other versions that worked with my setup. And for the most part, that's all it still is. But I've added so many quality of life improvements, so many additions and features that it's really its own thing now. That's why I call it ToonTown Multitool. Just to show you how much this thing has expanded. The first prototype I showed was a singular Python script. Just one. It was a long script, but that's all it was. It's definitely not just one script anymore. The first prototype had a very simple user interface using the tkinter framework. It's simple, but it got the job done. But one of the big things I wanted to accomplish was making this look good. So I switched to PySide 6, which isn't the most robust framework by any means, but it gives us a bit more control over appearance. And instead of just typing away in a text editor like I had been, I switched to VS Code. This is what allowed me to create this tool using 11 Python scripts. Just gonna show what it looked like before, and this is it now. There's a bit to unpack here, but look at that. It looks a good bit better now, or at least I think so. But it's a bit blinding to the eyes for me, so I'm gonna go ahead and switch to dark mode. Much better. Normally, you'd have to start ToonTown rewritten on your own, but I've gone ahead and included a button that opens the launcher for you. You can press it as many times as you want, whether you want 2 sessions or 13. I can't guarantee the rest of the tool will support 13 sessions though. Once you have your tunes ready, all you have to do is click on Start Service and you'll see the UI change. It'll show you how many tunes are detected and it'll automatically enable them. You also may notice that drop down over there. What you can do with that is change the keys that will register as movement. Before, I would have to go into ToonTown's control settings and remap the controls manually if I wanted the second tune to use different keys. And now I don't have to do that. I can keep the control setup as is and adjust this setting to change things. With both characters set to WASD, they will both move at the same time when using those keys to move. And if I have one of them set to arrow keys, I'll be able to control them individually. This alone has made things so much easier since I don't have to mess with the in-game settings anymore. And what's even better is that we have presets now. You can save movement settings to one of 5 presets, and you can change between them using keyboard hotkeys, making it really easy to switch on the fly. The keep alive setting still works as it did before, making this a really useful tool if you want to go AFK for a while, but we have a bit more control and some general improvements. To send the keep alive key, before you actually needed to type in the key that you wanted to send. And if you used something like space, it worked, but if you used anything else, it caused issues. So now you just click the open space, press the key you want to use, and it fills it in for you automatically. And now you can also change the delay interval, giving you control over how often that key is sent, from 5 seconds all the way up to 10 minutes. Once you have that set up, just click the checkbox at the top and you're good to go. Another cool thing, once it's enabled, you'll see a countdown timer showing you how long until the next key is sent. I didn't exactly need to add that, but I thought it was pretty cool. You can also change the delay interval while it's running, and you can see the countdown change after it finishes the cycle it's on. We also have a functional settings tab now, as we didn't before. You can choose whether or not to assign tune 1 and 2 by window position. Enabling this is required if you want to be able to mess with the input settings, but the option is there in the event that someone using this has a monitor setup that doesn't work well with that setting. In advanced settings, you can enable a diagnostic tab and a debug tab. I have them hidden by default now as they're mainly something for me to use to figure out why something isn't working properly. And last but not least, we finally have a functional theme section. This may sound simple, but this was such a headache to get working in a way that looked good. You can switch between light and dark mode, and you can change it to the default system setting whenever you have that too. And that just about covers it. If you're interested in this project at all, make sure to check on this channel every once in a while. I'll post any updates here as usual. I also have this uploaded to GitHub, and I'll post a link in the description. I'll add a release section pretty soon, but for now it gives you instructions to build the application yourself, granted you're using a Linux environment that's compatible. I do have some additional plans for features, but honestly I'm going to be taking a break from this. I already started working on a Windows version for whenever I inevitably get tired of using Linux and want to switch back, so whenever I start working on this again, that's the next thing on the list. But until then, thanks for sticking around.